Time to get back to the Miller Lite Jersey Central Newsmaker Hotline, and it's Week 17 of the pro football season. This is the final week of the regular season, and we've been trading picks all year with WCTCAM.com's Pro Football Pick'em Challenge. I got a long way to go, but you never know. I'm going to have to throw a fourth quarter, time-expiring Hail Mary, and maybe I could pull this thing out. But Doug Wells, general manager of Catena, Mercedes-Benz in Edison, good morning to you. You have a sizable lead, my friend. It's going to take that miracle play at the end of the Dolphins-Patriots game. This is going to have to be 10 times better than that, I think.
Well, somebody can do it.
Yeah.
Anybody can, it's you.
Well, that's very nice of you to say that, but we will see what happens. But it's hard to believe we're already at the final week of the regular season here. Playoff seedings still to be determined, and we still have a couple of spots that are still open as well. Doug, before we get to our picks here and for the final week of the regular season, just two questions for you. Number one, is this Todd Bowles' final game as coach of the Jets this coming Sunday? What do you think?
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah? This talk about Jim Harbaugh, you buying any of that? I'm not. I don't think there's any truth to that. What do you think about Jim Harbaugh?
I'm not. And Todd Bowles is a nice guy. I just think that the team just got away from him.
Yeah, 11-5 his first year as coach, and they missed the playoffs by a game. He goes, well, I guess we got to win 12 games if we want to make the playoffs. But we'll see if this will be his last one. And also, is this Eli Manning's final game as quarterback of the Giants? What do you think?
I'm going to say that the Giants pretty much are sort of forced to bring him in. They may try and make him redo his contract a little bit, but they don't have anybody really to step in his shoes.
I know.
They really got to go for somebody in the draft, and then have that person come in and actually sit behind Eli. It's one thing that Eli can teach to have a young quarterback is let him be the mentor to that quarterback, knowing his role to. He needs to play out, have a great season, but while he's having a great season, he needs to be preparing to pass the baton because he wants to be part of the Giants' legacy, and I think he wants to stay part of the organization.
No.
So, I mean, there's a whole lot of thinking on that one.
Yeah, I understand that. And you'd hate to see, the Giants have so many years and so much money invested in Odell Beckham Jr. that if you don't have a guy that can throw the ball to him, I think he's a generational player. And I think with a quarterback that he can work with and is a real qualitative guy, they can go far with that team on his back. And if he's going to be there and there's nobody to throw the ball to him, and he's going to be a disgruntled guy, it's not going to be the next pleasant couple years with Odell Beckham. So a guy like that, you want to be able to have somebody that can get the ball to him, I think. So I think Eli comes back.
Yeah, I'm saying he's coming back. Would he come back for a little less money?
Yeah.
I would hope so. I mean, my favorite is Tom Brady should be the highest paid quarterback and highest paid player in the NFL, and he's not, and he's always given up some of his contract to help sign somebody else.
That's how it's done. I use the analogy, Tim Duncan, who was a great NBA player, he always said, well, why don't you pay me this much money and use the rest to bring in more players and let's just keep winning rings. And nobody did it better than them for a stretch of years. So, you can do it probably in football too, but I guess we'll see. Doug, before we get to our Week 17 picks, remind me again, what's the vehicle that you have this week?
Well, today I went back into that super sexy CLS 53.
Oh. Hard to put the key down for that thing, huh?
It's hard to put the key down. I had the GLS the other day. Now I've got the the CLS, and this is our busiest time of the year. This final week, going all the way to January 2nd. Yesterday we were jam packed, and people were having fun and smiling faces, and this is it's a fun time of year for us to sell cars because watching people and watching how happy they are getting their new Mercedes-Benz, it makes it a pleasure for us.
Yeah, that's great stuff. And the sexy part, too. You like just kind of rolling down the street and everybody's kind of stopping and pulling their sunglasses down, taking a look at you, right? That's a good feeling, too, right? They are looking at you and not the car.
They are looking at the car. Definitely.
You're sure? Okay. All right, if you say so. All right, these are the picks for Sunday. These are all the final games of the regular season. Detroit visits Green Bay. In keeping with the Cat teams, it's too late for me to change now and make a comeback. I think the Lions go to Green Bay to beat the Packers. Who do you like in that one?
Well, I took Green Bay so that I wanted to give you an opportunity to get one back.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And maybe you did the same thing with Jacksonville at Houston. I took Jacksonville, obviously, the Cat team. Houston is playing to nail down a number 2 seed, and they're going to bring their A game on Sunday, I think.
I did take Houston also.
There you go. I figured that. All right. Oakland at Kansas City. Kansas City looking to secure that number 1 seed. No trouble with the Raiders, you think?
No problem. I have Kansas City also.
All right, Chicago at Minnesota. Vikings are playing for a playoff spot. They're in control of their own destiny. They win, they're in. Chicago was playing to get that number 2 seed. There's a lot at stake in this game. I take the Vikings simply because they're home.
It was a toss-up to me, but I went with Chicago.
You did? Okay. Chicago goes 12-4. That could be good enough for that number 2 seed. So that'll be a good game in the early time slot there on Sunday. Jets at New England. This is Patriots are playing to get that number 2 seed. Tom Brady's going to play. He's haunted the Jets his whole career. I think this is a Jet loss. Todd Bowles' last game. Sam Darnold is going to take the Jets to some great places in the future, Doug, just not this year. I think New England wins on Sunday.
I say yes, New England's going to win. And I think Sam Darnold's going to turn into a very fine young man. Not that he's not a fine young man now, but I think he's going to grow into a very, very great quarterback.
He's got the tools. He's got the skill. I would hate to see him leave and win a championship with another team. So I'm hoping that the Jets are patient, get a couple weapons for him. Mark Sanchez had somebody to throw the ball to. He had somebody to hand the ball to. And twice they almost went to the Super Bowl. So I think if they do it the right way, bring in the right coach, and you're building around a guy who could really be a franchise quarterback in the future. So not this year, but we'll see what the future years hold. Carolina at New Orleans. I got to take Carolina. Number 1, they're a Cat team. And number 2, the Saints have nothing to play for, Doug. 13-2. They've not locked down the number 1 seed in the NFC. They might not even play Drew Brees on Sunday or give their ace players the week off. I think Carolina will win. It's a meaningless game for them and for the Saints, too. I take Carolina in that one.
I'm going to go with New Orleans because they're playing home, and they always want to win when they're home.
Yeah, and 14-2 is much more attractive than 13-3. I agree. So we'll see how the Saints do in that one. Season finale for the Giants, too. They'll host Dallas the final week of the season. I have Dallas coming into the Meadowlands and beating the Giants. How about you?
I think Dallas is probably going to win, but I'm going to go with my heart, and I'm going to take the Giants because I think the Giants want to. If there was ever a game they really wanted to win, this would be the game.
This is the one. You're right. And from 1-7 to finish at 6-10, not so bad, but we'll see how that one plays out. But I have Dallas, and Doug has the Giants. All right. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Steelers need a win. They need the Ravens to lose for them to get into the playoffs. They always beat Cincinnati. It's like the unwritten rule that Pittsburgh always beats Cincinnati. Forget the records, forget where they play. Pittsburgh always beats Cincinnati, but I took the Bengals anyway. Who do you like in that one?
I took Pittsburgh. I figured that they're going to, after that loss last week, that they're going to try and step it up.
They've got, that loss to the Raiders is going to come back and haunt them, but we'll see what happens there. Atlanta at Tampa Bay. Boy, 2 teams. Atlanta and Tampa Bay started out the season with such great high hopes. They went to New Orleans, beat the Saints. They beat the Eagles in week 2. They've gone 3-10 ever since then. But I take Tampa Bay over Atlanta in the season finale for both teams.
I'm taking Atlanta, but so right now you and I we got a few games that could.
We got a few. Cleveland at Baltimore. If the Ravens win, they win the division and a home playoff game. Cleveland wins, they go from 0-16 to 8-7-1, a remarkable turnaround in just 1 year. I'm going to take the Ravens to get it done on Sunday.
I agree with you.
All right, Miami at Buffalo. I know you're a Dolphins fan. Miami is playing with a win. They finish 8-8 if they win at Buffalo. It's always bad weather, snow, wind, cold. I'm going to take the Bills. They got a nice young quarterback there. Much like Sam Darnold, he's a running guy. He's going to do some great things, I think, with that team. Again, a couple years down the road, but I think Buffalo will beat the Dolphins on Sunday.
I was going to go with Buffalo, but for some reason I'm going to click on Miami.
Okay, all right. Philadelphia visits Washington. Eagles need to win. They need the Bears to beat the Vikings, and the Eagles will have a chance to defend their Super Bowl title. Washington has been a disappointment this year after kind of hanging out at the top of the division. Now they've dropped down a little bit. I say Philadelphia goes into Washington and gets the win there.
I think you're right. I went with the Eagles also.
Okay, 3 games in the 4 o'clock afternoon slot on Sunday. San Francisco at the Rams. I take the Rams to win that one and get a nice playoff tune-up for them. You like the Rams there, Doug?
I'd like the Rams for sure, 100% on that one.
Okay, Arizona. Disappointing Arizona goes to Seattle to take on the playoff-bound Seahawks. I have Seattle winning that game also and finishing 10-6.
Yeah, that should be no problem for Seattle.
Okay, another late game on Sunday has the Chargers headed to the playoffs and still fighting for that division win for the Chiefs. They'll play the late game, and Kansas City's playing the early game, which is kind of interesting. They go to Denver, and I take the Phillip Rivers and the Chargers to get it done in Denver on Sunday.
I think the Chargers are definitely going to win it.
Okay, and the last game of the regular season, there's no Monday Night Football this week. Final game of the regular season is to secure the last spot in the playoffs in the AFC. Indianapolis at Tennessee. Winner goes to the playoffs. Loser goes home. So there'll be a lot of drama Sunday night. I think Andrew Luck and the Colts go to Tennessee and come away with a one-score, very close, very tightly played game. But I think the Colts a little bit better than the Titans on Sunday night.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Colts also, and I think the kicker is going to be the one that saves the day for them.
Yeah, Adam Vinatieri. How do I see him kicking a game-winning field goal with zeros on the clock or something, like he's done so many years in his career? But there you go. There's the final regular season picks for Doug Wells and myself. And, of course, get your picks in at WCTCAM.com. It's the final week of the regular season. We'll continue this right on through the Super Bowl in February. Again, the winner is going to get that beautiful remote control car. I've got some videos that I'm going to share with you on Facebook, and you can get a look at that as well. And, of course, the dinner or lunch looks like it's going to be coming out of my wallet here. You know, Doug, when I open up my wallet, George Washington squints, and he goes, wow, what's that bright light? You know, I don't open it very often, so... But we'll have some fun with that. So.
Yeah, I'm going to enjoy every second of it.
You're going to savor every bite, I'm sure. I know you will. But this has been fun, and we'll continue through the postseason. But get your votes in, and Doug and I will recap again with the holiday next week. We'll get together on Wednesday for our recap, and next Thursday for our preview once again. Doug, Happy New Year. Go right ahead.
I just want to let everybody know we're going to be open on New Year's Eve, probably to at least 4 o'clock.
Nice.
So if anybody's looking to get a car and they're wondering if we're going to be open on New Year's Eve, we will be open.
That's an exciting time to go car shopping. There's a lot of excitement in the air New Year's Eve.
There's nothing like getting a new car to celebrate the new year.
I'm telling you, sliding into a new Mercedes-Benz on New Year's Eve, man, oh man, somebody hold me down. I like that. But yeah, he's going to be open there, so make sure you stop by and check out what's happening. Doug, Happy New Year, man. We'll talk next week, and thank you, and we'll see you soon, all right?
You got it. Thank you.